so close to, you know, the Sioux, and you could just cross over that way?
Clearly,
Or
it wasn't like hundreds of escaped slaves were coming up from Georgia. It was people that had already escaped once, pretty much, that had to escape again for fear of the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And so, and the fact that it's funny, people don't document things typically. You're working on a farm, you know, and you're eking out an existence. You got to supplement your diet with wild game. Documenting things that happen around you isn't necessarily high on the list of priorities.
You aren't sitting down.
Secondary important.
Yeah.
Plus, the documentation could turn it to nip you too.
Yeah, oh,
It
yeah.
would be proof that you
Right.
were,
That's right.
in fact, you know. So,
Do time in the Louisiana Pokey.
yeah.
Well, if I can get
No, actually, it was mostly. Well, you hear stories to this day from people in Mackinac City. They know about it. It's fascinating. And this is something as information that has gone down the generations.
Okay.
But as far as as far as more details, there was an engineer that lived here briefly, and he was of a scientific mind, and he was a sort of scholarly by nature, and he put some of these things down. He was the one responsible for the book that you photocopied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it isn't a book about. It's a general book about the house. That's how we know about August and Ulrika Sheppy, because he made sure that the whole history of the house was written down.
Okay.
And that's certainly an important part of
Interesting.
And
it. Yeah,
someplace or other, you think the house was built in 1860, 1859?
Yeah, I guess at least he began work in 1859.
Yeah.
But I think those Germans, what they would usually do, of course, they made something so it would be livable almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then they improved it and expanded it.
So you think that it was actually built before that, though, right?
No. 1859 is usually when there was
Because
a house
that was
here.
nearing the end of the Underground Railroad
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah. Well, then maybe there is some confusion about that. That's what's on the engineer's document.
And the Civil War was ended by then.
No, 59.
The Civil War
And
started
the
in
Fugitive
51?
Slave Act, I think, was 1857.
Was it?
Yeah, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
And of course, the Civil War is 1861 to 1865.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh. Well, then it would be in the time
Yeah.
period.
It definitely was. It was.
Oh,
the
okay.
house
Well,
was
especially after the Fugitive Slave Act, then that was when they went to Canada, right?
Yeah, they thought they were safe until once again politicians in Washington
Trying
betrayed
to
the people.
appeasement.
Well, they passed the Fugitive Slave Act, which favored the South, didn't it?
It sure did. It was Southern initiative.
Yeah.
What would you guys... Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Right. Some of the northern states were even considering seceding from the Union.
Yeah,
The northern
yeah.
states.
Yeah.
Must
I'm
be
told
true.
that the Texans want to secede now. They're so upset at having a black man as president, I think is what's behind
I
it.
visited the Canadian Maritime Provinces a few years ago, and
Oh,
you know,
just wanted to go there.
Ontario, the license plate, yours the Discoverer,
Yeah.
or something like that, and Manitoba is come and see us. Quebec is Je vais me souviens, I will remember. I'll remember how badly the British treated us. They look backwards, everybody else was forward.
You gotta-
So anyway, people on the tour, we were two Americans on a busload of 46 people. One guy was from Australia. So we really got the Canadian point of view. And it was, if Quebec doesn't be quiet, let them secede, because they talked of that. And they said immediately you'd have three provinces wanting to join the United States. The three eastern provinces are cut off. So there's always unrest someplace.
Yeah, oh yeah. The maritime provinces themselves have often felt that they shouldn't be part of Canada.
Yeah.
They've got a whole different perspective.
Do you mind telling the story one more time about when they, the bonfire
Yes.
signaling, and do you mind if I record it? Is that okay? Or
Well, yeah, well, it's not as if I'm that great an authority. I've
You got
heard
to
this
start
from
out
others.
once upon a time on a dark and stormy night. That's how Snoopy would have done.
Or just so I can hear it again.
Now,
Amidst the howling wilderness of northern Michigan,
don't shoot into the sun.
fugitive slaves.
And if you mispronounce a word, you got to start over. No, you.
The responsibility.
I'm just kidding you.
The pressure,
I feel like I'm already at work. No, I'd be happy to. But,
Okay.
Tell me when you record.
Okay. Do you got it, Kev? Do you have recording?
We can both do it. We
Yeah,
can both
okay.
do it.
I'll
But
do
don't
this
shoot into the sun is overhead, so I
Okay.
guess you're okay.
Great. We're good.
My understanding, the stories I've heard, are that when contraband, fugitive slaves, sometimes who had long been resident in the free states, but were now suddenly subject to the predations of bounty hunters, came to this farm, there would be a bonfire lit on Point Nipigon, about 5 miles south of here on Lake Huron. When the residents of Bois Blanc Island saw the bonfire, they would man an old whaleboat and go to the shore, pick up the escaped slaves, take them back to the island. And once a month, a Canadian schooner on a regular run would, if there were slaves there, escaped slaves, they would pick them up and take them to freedom in Canada.
Great. Thank you
You're
so
quite
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
So
Thank
so
you.
much.
Well, you know, I spent most of my career was not working at a grocery marketing communications writer, and I would have felt so much more comfortable if I'd been able to write that.
Oh, it's all very informal. So
Oh,
yeah,
just
good.
appreciate
Yes,
hearing your
Just for
Yeah, well,
your
yeah.
thoughts.
I think
Yeah.
we are all very informal. The setting is certainly informal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't you tell me you're a Yale man?
Well, I didn't get a degree though. That's why I'm not
Oh.
in some wood-paneled history professor's office.
This is a lot nicer.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Here.
maybe I succeeded by failing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped out. I didn't fail out or anything, but I had to because of a
Yeah.
divorce and some medical issues. But yeah.
Well, when you
Yeah.
Sometimes doesn't work.
So Chad was out here as well,
no, he doesn't. He lives in Harbor Springs.
but he came out here.
Oh, he came out here. Yeah, yes. You'll probably bump into him. And by the way, their name it isn't Shepper, it's Schrepper with an R.
Oh, okay. Great. So there is the R in there.
You want to go back this way then?
Yes.
That's
If
the
you wanna
Penguin
get a-
Road right there.
If you want to get a picture of Freedom Road,
There's Freedom Farm. Did you guys get a picture of that?
Yes,
I
I
got
did.
it.
I got a
Okay.
couple. I came back up and got.
Oh,
some
did
more.
you?
Yeah.
you know, one of the great things about digital cameras, you can take any number of pictures and delete any number of pictures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Save the good ones and get rid of the bad ones.
I'm so bad that Tom didn't get that recording.
We got it. We got it.
Yeah. Can you guys forward it to me so I can
Sure.
use it for my paper? Thank you.
I can actually. I'll put it on YouTube.
Are you joking?
No. You can watch it online
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, if you didn't know this guy, and I really didn't know him before a few days ago, I mean, I've seen him forever at the IGA store, but he doesn't look like a college graduate. I don't know if he is a graduate, but he's certainly a college person. But he looks like an ordinary farmer.
Well, thank you for coming
Yes.
out here too. I mean, this is.
Glad to do it.
Should we get our picture by this sign?
That would be great.
That would be good.
Cool.
Now there's also another sign down at the off the main highway, but I would take this one and then